Hey guys, Dylan from Noble Records coming at you with another video, shooting this Joker in the middle of the day, which I never do. But had a little bit of time. I'm hanging at home with the kids. I got the door open, so a kid might run in here or be screaming in the background or something. They're playing together in the next room. But I got a really cool record to show you as usual. I had a really tremendous response from my video of me unboxing the Farm. Man, this Farm record, holy moly. If you don't know, I've talked about it. I mean, if you're a new viewer or something, you might not know, but I've been talking about this record forever. This is, you saw it in my unboxing video, I'm sure. But just so thrilled to have this. I've listened to it a ton of times. Can't believe I actually have it now. It's just been one of those eluded me for so long. I'm so excited to have it. But the response on the video, a lot of people were just like, man, it's great. It's great to see somebody so excited about a record. Like, probably a lot of people think I'm stupid for getting so stoked about a record, but it's just one of those things, man. I mean, so stoked. But it gives me hope that people are, people like seeing other people happy. You know what I mean? That's a good thing. So I'm going to show you some things that I got and things I've been listening to and things like that. So I have been trying to cut down on my buying. Lately, I've been really trying to take a step back and enjoy things I already have. But anything I do buy is usually pretty killer stuff. So I have bought a few, but really, like I said, focused a lot more towards some things I already have. So recently got this Nick Drake Brighter Later original UK press. Nick Drake's original UKs are really super tough to find. I've got, I don't know, that's probably too far to find right now, but I've got a bunch of Nick Drake stuff. PQR, yeah, they're somewhere. But I got a lot of his earlier records. So I've got Pink Moon, Five Leaves, and a copy of Brighter Later. They're all the original U.S. Antilles. They're reissues. They're like mid to late 70s reissues. But for the U.S., they never released them originally. So, anyways, but if you don't know Nick Drake, I posted about this on my Instagram, and a bunch of people messaged me. They're like, man, how have I never heard of this guy? Like, a ton of people were like, I can't believe I've never heard of Nick Drake. And they listened to him, and they're like, this is incredible. I thought everybody heard of Nick Drake by now, but Nick Drake is awesome. Sad songs. Real, like, we listen to him a lot in the winter and the fall. Like, we love Nick Drake. Very mellow, acoustic, singer-songwriter. Very ahead of his time. Like, if you listen to Elliott Smith, it's a lot like that, but like, 30, 40 years before him. So, really, really cool record. I like this one a lot. Pink Moon is the one that everybody says is the best. I've listened to all his records so much. They're all good to me. This is another one I've gotten. I've been chasing a perfect copy of this forever, and I can't find one. So this is Zombies, Odyssey, and Oracle. This is a promo copy. This one it's got some writing on the label, and the cover is a little bit, I don't know if you can tell, but it's had some water damage, so the cover is a little bit wavy. I got this for a decent price, but the thing is the vinyl was a lot cleaner than the one I already have. So, like, this is a kind of it has some quiet spots in it. Obviously, a lot of it's very quiet. But this is in my top 3 favorite albums of all time, I always say my top 3 favorites are tied for number 1. And that's Led Zeppelin 3, Odyssey and Oracle, and Townes Van Zandt Self-Titled are all, like, tip-top for me. Depends on what mood I'm in. But this is just the most incredible pop psych record. I love it so much, and I want a perfect copy of it. So my system's so sensitive that the copy I've always had, my older one, there's just some background noise, and I'm not normally too anal about it, but I'd really like to get a perfect one. So, anyways, this is a cool upgrade for me, but still not my permanent copy probably. This is one. It's called Maranatha. Soon. This is. It's funny how this works. I knew about this record because I'd seen somebody post about it on Instagram like a year ago, and I looked through and I found it on Discogs and I listened to it. Discogs has all the YouTube links and stuff on there, so I listened to it, and I really like the acid folk and like early psychedelic hard rock Christian albums. I think they're like really cool. It's just cool that, you know, within the Christian realm, there were all these bands that were kind of pushing what traditional church music was, and they were making like, they were really adapting that music to their time. And I think a lot of times, like in today's Christian music and like 20 years ago Christian music, you could tell it was like the diet version of popular music. You know, you'd get somebody that was, you know, I don't know, DC Talk. You know, when I was a kid growing up, I listened to DC Talk or whatever, and it was like they were pretty good, but they weren't really as good as, like, you know, Pearl Jam or whatever, like whatever bands, you know, people were listening to at the time. You know, they were okay, but they're not like, you know, they're on a different level. But back then, like the psychedelic rock albums, a lot of the Christians albums are just as good. The lyrics are just different. You know, they're really, really strong records. This is a really good acid folk record. It's got some guitar solos and stuff on it. Really neat. But I had heard about it, and it's like one of these records that's really rare, and like not a lot of people would have ever heard about it or know anything about it. But and then randomly one showed up at the shop a couple weeks ago, and I was like, oh, maybe a month ago. I was like, what the heck? How did that end up? Because it's a California private press psychedelic Christian record, but it's pretty good. But like, if you know Fraction Moonblood, it's like a $6,000 record. It's killer hard rock. That's probably would be my number one, but that's one I really don't think I'll ever find, because I'm not paying $6,000 for a record. But that's a Christian record, and it's just freaking killer. Here's a few I already had. This is the Kinks, the Village Green Preservation Society. This is a white label promo, and this sucker is stone mint. This is a record I look for a very long time. Man, I looked for an original press forever. I could just never find them. For whatever reason, this is like the hardest Kink record for me to find. And I found one in a storage unit randomly, like 3 or 4 years ago. It was the original press. And then maybe a year or so ago, a friend of mine found this promo, and he's like, you feel like you might be the guy for this? You want it? And I was like, heck yes. It's super clean. But as far as like Kinks records go, this is my favorite. Just really strong record. You know, more on the pop psych side than some of their others. But I think this is a masterpiece of an album. But original, you know, obviously gatefold. Very nice copy of that. So I just listened to that last night. This is one that is really good. This is Dr. Strangely Strange, Heavy Petting on a Vertigo. This is an original UK. And this kind of folds out. It's got a really cool interactive fold-out cover. A guy on Instagram kind of reached out to me and said he found a really nice clean copy, and if I needed it. And I was like, well, I don't know. So I might try to get it. I don't know if you're watching this. This is a decent copy, but it definitely could use a cleaner one. But yeah, this is like really good. Along the same lines, like most of it's more on the folky side for Vertigo. Like Vertigo is known for their heavy hitting hard rock records, but this is a little bit more on the folk side, acid folk, and it's got some really good sparing guitar solos. There's not a lot in there, but the ones in there are like really on point. But this is a masterpiece of a record. The Dr. Strangely Strange Vertigo stuff's really tough to find, and great album. But I listened to this the other night, and I was like, man, forgot how good this record was. And, you know, used to, when I first started getting into collecting psych and Vertigos and hard rock and stuff, if it didn't have a lot of guitar solos in it, I was like, wake me up when it's over, you know. But, like, now I'm getting to the point, past couple years, where, you know, the acid folk, like, singer-songwriter-y type of stuff that's sprinkled in there, that I would normally just kind of skip over and not really pay much attention to, I really see a lot of value in that as well. So it's just kind of your tastes and things change and your palate grows. Jimmy Campbell. This is original U.S. Vertigo of Jimmy Campbell, Half Baked. This is a really good record, and it's along the same lines as a Dr. Strangely Strange. This is one that's not quite as valuable, but you know, the U.S. Vertigos of this you can get for like $50, so it's kind of a cheap Vertigo. But yeah, they're really good. Pretty much same description, like a lot of acid folky, soft rock type stuff in there, but then there's also some good guitar solos and stuff in here. But this is a really good record. I really like it, and it's got to be a really good record for me to keep it if it's got clowns on the cover, because why would you ever put a clown on the cover of a record? It's bad. It's just bad. don't do it. But anyways, really great record. This is another one. I think I showed it like a month ago, but I've been listening to it a little bit. This is Stonehouse, Stonehouse Creek. This is an original UK pressing of it. These are pretty tough to find. But this is a really good band, like early 70s hard rock sound. Very similar to like Deep Purple would be a very good comparison, I guess. But you can hear tinges of like, you know, Led Zeppelin, Rush, Black Sabbath. But Deep Purple's probably the best comparison. There's some heavy organ rock, some good guitar solos, but it's an out of this world record. Very, very good. And I could have seen it becoming like one of those classics like Machine Head or something. But it, like for whatever reason, it didn't get any promotion, and the cover art sucks. So I mean, back then that was a double whammy. You know, if the cover art wasn't good and they didn't promote it, you're not going anywhere. So it's funny to think about what really set these albums apart, because this is every bit as good as any Deep Purple record, you know. But you know, Deep Purple was great. There's no slight to Deep Purple, but this is just a really great record. So I don't know, the things that it's the same with today. You know, I've heard bands in, you know, in little bars when I was a teenager that were better than any band on the radio. You know, it's something that commonly happens. This right place, right time, right connections, stuff like that. I'm sure it was that way back then. This is Markley, the group. This is the West Coast pop art experimental band. Pretty much, it's the same band, but they're called Markley because Bob Markley, the leader of the band, I guess they decided they wanted to call it Markley. I don't know. But this would have been their 6th album if they had billed it as the West Coast pop art experimental band. Say that 6 times. But really nice, clean copy. I'd been looking for this for a while. I still need a couple of West Coasts. This is a really good one. I don't know. They get a lot of criticism for their later stuff because some of, you know, there's reasons I'm not going to go into, but this kind of is more reminiscent of their earlier records, their first 3 records, and this is really, really, really good, like pop psych. It gets a little harder at times too, but really awesome record. I love this record so much. So if you're into psychedelic stuff, you know, this is kind of a tough one to find, but it's not, I think they're like $100 or less, maybe 75, I don't know. But really great record. Love it. Man, this is one that's been a long time coming. Shuggy Otis, Freedom Flight. I've been wanting some Shuggy Otis records, and I just never see them, ever. Never. I don't know why. You know, they're on Epic, so they're pretty, they should be findable. But it's not been ever something that I go on eBay for, but it's like, I want to keep my eye on Shuggy Otis. Shuggy Otis was a great guitar player. And he reminds me of like a little bit of a funkier Jimi Hendrix. Like, this is probably the area I think Jimi Hendrix would have probably gone into, maybe a little bit more. I don't know. I speculate how Jimi Hendrix would have developed if he had lived a little bit longer, but I really do think he would have gone a little bit more into the fusion, funky stuff. I think he would have, but anyways, just the way his career and his you know, output was going in life, I think that's where it would go. But this is really good. There's Strawberry Letter 23, which is a very popular song made popular by Brothers Johnson, but this is the original cut that he wrote. So really good song on there. But this is through and through. There's blues rock numbers. There's like a little more funky numbers. There's more pop numbers. But this is a really, really great record. I love it so much. But I've been looking for original one and found one maybe a month ago. And I've got this box. Well, let's face it. I've got like 3 boxes over here of stuff that I really need to listen to before I file away. That's always the problem. And so I've been cutting through that stuff, listening to it a lot. So I'm trying to give it a fresh listen before I bring it out and show you. But some great stuff in that box. This is one called Truck Tracks. Now, this is a original US promo. Really good early hard rock record. And this is one, I think you can get these for like 30 or 40 bucks. The Discogs numbers are all jacked up. I don't know why, but this is one of those releases to where like Discogs says median's like $10. So with that information, you might keep a lookout, because sometimes if the numbers are super low, somebody that don't know what they have, they'll throw it up on Discogs for what the median is, and then it just keeps going. But if you look on eBay, these go for higher than $10 a lot. A lot of times. But this is a really super clean promo. I've been looking for one; they just don't come around very often, and I found this in a collection like a month ago. But really nice record. Really great guitar work on this. Phenomenal stuff. This is a record that when I put it on, I was like, I cannot believe this is not a more expensive record. I think if it was on a private press label, it would be worth a lot. But anyways, great songs on this. I would suggest you finding it if you're into, blue cheery, blues rock. But it's got some creative guitar sounds and stuff on there. So really good. This is another one. I'll share a quandary with you. So if you watched my channel, maybe a year or so ago, I found this. This is an original US, the Deviants. Yeah, and it's like, I shouldn't pull this out and show you, dang it, but I have to. Why would I have it if not just to show it to you? So it's got this, so that's the cover, but it's got this fold out comic book artwork, and it is really, really cool and really hard to get back right, so I got to remember. But that's the back side of it. So it folds out. It's just a really cool cover, but because the cover's like that, sometimes you see the discs come for sale. Sometimes you see the covers come for sale because they were hung on walls and all that stuff. But rarely do you ever find the disc and the cover. So a friend of mine that runs Spatula City Records, he had a collection where he found the cover, and he's like, oh crap, it's just the cover. And I was like, I'd probably still be interested in the cover. And then he messaged me back and said, I found the disc separately. So the disc on this is probably VG. It's not too terribly great. But it's an original UK, so it's got the disc and the cover, and it's great. It's awesome. That cover really was what makes it for me. Now, this record is kind of a weird record. It is an acquired taste. It's bizarre that this record was made when it was, because it was kind of more on the art rock record. Like, I could see this. Maybe somebody who liked Velvet Underground would maybe like this as well, but not like Velvet Underground and Nico. I'm thinking like White Light, White Heat type stuff. There's some spoken word stuff in here. There's some really weird, content in this, we'll just say. But this is a weird record. It's very weird, and a lot of people don't like it. It's a little bit of a tough listen, and I do like it. But so in the collection I picked up, I got this original US, and it is like mint. Problem is, though, this is a gatefold, and it doesn't have all the artwork that the UK has in it. It is a gatefold, but it doesn't have all that in it. But it's a super clean US press. So I don't normally keep 2 copies of something, but for that one I will. I really do like that record, but it's a little bit of a chore to listen to, and I have to be in the right state of mind. That being said, also in that collection, I got this first UK on Stable Records. This Deviants Disposable. I need Deviants 3 as well. I don't have that one, but this one is a lot more listenable. This is a cheaper record too. These are only I looked on Discogs, and they go for a lot less than the other ones do. And this is a lot more palatable, a lot more listenable. Really good fuzz guitar. Pretty much a straightforward psychedelic record, but it's very good. This is a very good record. And for it to be an original UK on Stable, a lot of those go for like $300, $400, $500. This one's like maybe $100 album. I don't know. The ones I'm seeing on Discogs are like $100, but I could be wrong. I haven't checked the auction prices on it. But this is a really good record. And actually, if I'm going to put on a record to really sit and enjoy, I prefer this one to that one. But that one's kind of got a little bit more historical significance, because a lot of people talk about this one here. A lot of people talking about its importance as it comes to the development of punk. A lot of people that listen to punk, like the Stooges and I don't know, early Sex Pistols and Clash and stuff like that, they attribute this record to being an influence. So that's why it's kind of, because it's just far out there. It's a punk rock attitude, you know what I mean? But this is more on the psychedelic side. Very, very good. So now, this is kind of a short stack. I'm blazing through these. I think middle of the day, my brain's working better, and I'm able to articulate what I'm saying better. But I hardly ever have time in the middle of the day, so that's the problem. Okay, this came out last week, and I've been listening to it like crazy. This is the Daptone Super Soul Review live at the Apollo. This is a 3 LP, super thick, juicy. This is the Indie Record Store exclusive. I will pull this out. I'll show you the blue vinyl on this rascal. It's pretty schwanked. I guess this is like Coke bottle. But anyways, very cool record. So Daptone Records is a label that's like neo soul. They go back a little bit farther than Coal Mine Records, but they have that same approach, same type of sound. Charles Bradley, Sharon Jones are both like kind of the big staples to this label. But this is just a really great. It's 2014. This was recorded, and it's just real funky, really good energy to it. But a lot of different bands. You could tell this was a really special event that they all got together. Everybody from the label got together, and they just kind of showcased the label live. It was really, really cool. So these are like, I think they're like $45. The MSRP is like $45 on these, which for it being such a thick and juicy, nice packaging with booklets and colored vinyl and all that stuff, I think it's a pretty good value, because I see other things similar to this. MSRP is like $60, So this is really great. If you see this, I would highly encourage you to pick this up. If you're into that type of thing, this is a really great release. I was really excited about it, and I have a bunch left in the shop. Nobody's buying them, and I'm like, God, you guys got to buy this, Really good. Another one that came out this past Friday is POD Satellite. So stoked about this. Holy moly. Oh gosh, you know what? We're going to talk about something else that needs to be talked about right after this. This is a great record. POD. I, was raised in Christian school, and church and all that stuff, and we weren't allowed to listen to the radio. We weren't allowed to listen to secular music. We were only allowed to listen to Christian music. So this was kind of a real heavy record to me at the time when it came out. It came out September 11th, 2001. And I listened to it nonstop. I was hooked on it. There's something heavier about it. And it's still, like, listen to it today, it's a strong record, So this was kind of my intro to that kind of, like, a little bit heavier type of music. I know you laugh at it, but I mean, before that, we're listening to, like, the only thing I could listen to was something that was on the Christian radio station or oldies. So my parents would let me listen to oldies. Shortly after I picked up a guitar, that all went out the window. But this was kind of my intro to that kind of music, and I really liked it. And then later on, when I heard Rage Against the Machine, I nearly crapped myself. So I'm trying to find this record to talk about it. Jeez Louise, where did I put it? So I've got a copy of Creed. This is embarrassing. Where did I put it? I know it's not there. So I got a copy of Creed Human Clay. I don't know what I did with it, but I posted it on my Instagram story. Just imagine me holding it here. There it is over there. I'm not going to go get it. But, I just got to say, this is just a hot take, I guess you could say. Creed gets a bad rap, and I don't get it. Like, I was talking to a friend of mine, and we were talking about, like, how good Creed was for the time. And like, I don't think they dropped their first album in, like, 97, I think. And then, like I said, that was My Own Prison, and then Human Clay was, like, I don't know, late 90s, early 2000s, and then Weathered, which Weathered was one I listened to most. But all I had to say, I think people lump Creed in with, like, Nickelback and like Puddle of Mud and, like, stuff that was kind of... And then, I think that the combination of that, and there's a lot of bands during that time that were kind of a joke. And then also, like, Scott Stapp kind of, he had his bouts with mental health. And, like, most people, when they talk about mental health, like, that's kind of, like, off limits. You can't really criticize somebody for their mental health issues, obviously. But with Scott Stapp, for some reason, people give him such crap about it. And the people act like he was such... And I think it has also kind of a connection with, like, they were all... they wasn't a Christian band, but they were all Christians earlier on, I guess. But their music wasn't Christian music or anything like that. But I think the combination of that and, him kind of going off the deep end and kind of getting, I think he had some, like, substance abuse issues as well. Him having some alcohol problems. and he just kind of went off the deep end. I think a lot of people were like, "Oh, you guys were Christians. Well, now look at you." You know, and I think that brought them a lot of criticism, and it's easy to make fun of them. But Mark Tremonti, dude, is a dynamite guitar player. Scott Stapp, I know he has like a real unique kind of he has a quality to his voice that might annoy some people. You know, you either like him or you don't. You know, he's definitely a little derivative of Eddie Vedder, but strong vocals. And like this morning I listened to last night I listened to Human Clay. This morning I listened to Weathered, and I was like, this is so good. I mean, it's hard rock. It's kicking. Do me a favor. You criticize me all you want to, but you gotta ask yourself, you're criticizing me because it's fun to make fun of Creed, and everybody does it, and it's just kind of one of those things where it's cool to make fun of Creed. Sit back and listen to Creed objectively, without the thoughts of like whether it's cool to make fun of this band or not. You know, I mean, it's cool. It used to be cool to make fun of the Bee Gees until everybody came around. They're like, "Oh, the Bee Gees are awesome," and like HBO made that documentary, and people were like, "Oh yeah, I'm a Bee Gees fan. I love." But when I was a kid, man, everybody made fun of the Bee Gees. All I'm saying is, there was a time where Creed was the biggest band in the world. They were selling out like stadiums and stuff. Like they were really good. They were really good. I stick to my guns. You can quote me.